maybe until I get the notifications. We are working, so I'm not in my fancy Marco shirt. Kyle has like a what type of shirt are you wearing?
Craftwork. Techno pop.
Heads. Oh, okay.
Hey, wait. Yeah, we got heads.
Kyle's working on a head, and he's got heads. And on my head is a new Marco pinball hat. It's a prototype. So,
have we decided what colors we're going to go with yet?
I have to take pictures of them. I'm surprised Midge likes the Marco red logo. That's just so far from our style guide that I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe that's why he's into it.
Yeah, maybe so. It looks just too like demonic.
Yeah.
And not techie.
Yeah.
And I like techie. This feels like, hey, I'm a pinball tech.
I agree. It's a little more understated or something. All right, is this camera in an okay spot?
Yeah, I think it's in an okay spot if you want to. Oh, it worked. I think it worked.
What happened?
I got a notification that we're live.
Oh, hey, that's cool.
So this is us also testing out stream stuff on our weekend.
Yeah, you know.
During our actual PINTECH time. So
always working.
It will work. Oh yeah, and the title's updated. Look at that. Streamlabs. We are 100% through Streamlabs, not using Restream, so we'll see how that goes. All right, Kyle, what are you working on?
Bride of Pinbot, baby. We've got all sorts of head parts. We're going to throw this sucker back together. It kind of looks like a head, right? It's
yeah, the eyeballs and the mouth.
Hello, I am...
Because that's where the balls go into.
Yeah, right? that's where they settle into. I always thought this was cool. Since like no one's going to be watching this, we might as well just talk. Williams had these things called a controlled gate. So you know how like on TNA, when you shoot a ball at the top, and sometimes it will do like a full orbit, and sometimes it'll stop to go into the top or something. So Williams did this, and they called it a controlled gate, and that will allow the ball to enter through the flap. Oh wait, it's not in the camera. Like that.
There you go.
But it's hella elegant, right? Wow. It's just a relay coil down here.
Nice.
And there's this little armature that pulls down, and that actuates a wire form underneath the gate to lift it up.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's really a simple, fun little trick.
I'm muffled. I don't have my good mic right now, so I am not going to sound as clear as I could with my Sennheiser mic. Oh. But if you can hear me, that's all that matters. I won't be talking much either. This is Kyle's show.
This is our thing, man. I just wanted to...
Working on the weekend show. I'm just trying to learn, sort of. This is like such an interesting mech. And we wanted to do this on our actual show, but on Thursdays we're working on Fire. So we didn't want to break up the kind of streamline of the Fire series. But Kyle needed to finish this Bride of Pinbot head. So I was like, oh, let's stream it.
Yeah, that plus you made me feel all guilty for we were all like, hey, what do you guys want to do next week? Everyone's like, let's do Fire. And then you're like, wait, you told everyone you're going to do Fire, and then you didn't do it. And it's like, oh, whoops.
I know. You're like, Bride of Pinbot. Yay, happy Sunday. Touched by Polera. Oh, what's up?
Oh, hey, people.
And it's lit pinballs in here, too.
Oh, man.
It's Sunday. It's a great day to hang out and work on pinball machines. I just got nuts. I got nuts. I got 4 nuts for my new leg levelers that my pin really needed. And I got some de-ruster to throw some stuff into.
Did you, were you able to find the 9/16 diameter at the hardware store?
I got it.
Oh,
I got
cool.
Exactly what you told me to get. I even came with my wrench and the leg leveler just in case to make sure it all worked.
Yeah, for whatever, with that size, they make 2 different size nuts. And like, the only reason I get kind of anal about it is because like if I'm working on a game or something, like I don't want to have both wrenches at the same time. Like it's nice to be able to just be like, Oh, it's a Bally game, 9/16, and it's 9/16 on the bottom too.
Yeah, so I only need one wrench now. Besides the little mini wrench that I needed to switch out all my acorns today, because I did that too. Little dental cleaning.
Yeah. That's like what? It's a 5/16 wrench, isn't it?
I don't know the size, but it's like a baby wrench. It's really tiny.
You got to get a nut driver, man. It's so handy.
Oh, yeah.
you can just
that
do
would
it from
be
the top.
Way better than the way I was.
But you were just in there with like a little teeny guy, like.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, change the teeth.
Before we do this, I realized I forgot my box of parts in my car because it started like some insane torrential downpour the second I stepped in this building. Let me just run outside really quick and get my parts.
Okay. In the meantime, I'll talk with the chat.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's up? Let's stream soon. So just to remind you guys, I know I'm the marketing director of Marco Pinball, so I schlep a lot. And today is your last day to get free shipping for orders over $99. Free ground shipping. It saves you $8.99. You know, load up your cart with parts. I did the same thing earlier this week. I got all my parts in on Saturday, and my pin got fresh new buttons, which they really needed. It was an old Bally Midway. The buttons were crusting off, and I gave a little dental cleaning. I replaced the acorns on the tops. They look like teeth, so that's why I say dental cleaning. And, you know, just getting some rust off of some parts that I can't get right now. So I'm just trying to salvage what I have. And yeah, soon I'm going to need a new pinball machine to work on. I saw a Aztec that
cool.
needs some love, but it was also $600 and it needed a lot of love. So, and they weren't going to budge on the price.
Well,
I don't think it'll happen.
I
I have another line for an Aztec for much cheaper that is in mint condition from one of my very dear friends. So I'm looking for another project then.
Aztec is a game that I would buy and give some love to. It's like, it just depends on how much, right? Like,
yeah, it was bad. It needed like touch up paint everywhere and stuff. The play field had like, the paint was up, the wood was bad.
Yeah, no, it's like, you don't pay for games like that. People should be paying you to get rid of that kind of stuff. It's not worth it, man. Those sorts of projects are just so long.
Oh, but speaking of loading up my cart, I totally forgot to get a new fresh pack of balls. And I'm so sad because I was looking at my balls and they are in the art pile now.
Yeah. The good old art pile.
Except for one. I kept one so I can still play, but it's kind of like I shouldn't be. I feel kind of bad. That
we got to get you some ASAP.
Lil Viking says, just not to Canada. I know we don't have a Canadian or Australian deal. We need distro centers up there. I'm sorry y'all have to pay such premium shipping prices to get parts, but we appreciate your business when you do. And if you ever see that your shipping is an exorbitant amount of money, send us an email at sales@marcopinball.com and we can usually help you. So don't just walk away from it crying.
Yeah, let us help you. It's kind of crazy. Again, like I mentioned it last week this week on our actual stream. It's like we're working on that, and I'm hoping that once we get it worked out, we can have like a super cool like exclude Americans from shipping. We can give like good deals to our Australians, European, and Canadian pinball friends. You know, everyone all over the world, not to exclude Mexico or South America and stuff. So
that would be pretty funny. I boosted my mic up. Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf, still my favorite Twitch handle.
My new favorite addition to our stream. That's a great name.
It's such a great name. I need to move my chat box to be bigger.
That's delicious
Blind.
beer.
All right, Kyle is working on Bride of Pinbot's head.
Yeah.
Show
So-
us how it's done, Kyle.
I brought this so we could just kind of go over like what the assembly is, and then I brought this guy here, which is my DC adjustable bench power supply that I use when I'm testing stuff or building stuff. And this will allow us to run the motor so you can watch how the head turns. It's super cool. The way this mounts is you have the head, which this is facing the back of the play field. This end where my hand is facing the flippers. And these guys made together like this. So you can kind of see, like, this is what the inside of the head looks like with its open slot. So you've got, your two solenoids up here by my thumb for the eye pop out, and the bottom one by my other thumb for the mouth. You got your light bulbs for the eyes and the mouth. It's really cute. It's such an amazing piece of engineering that they really only used once. A lot of times when the Williams engineers would spend this much money making something ridiculous like this, they would use it one or two times, kind of like quiet, Xenon. Like what, Rudy with Red and Ted, But so it's a pretty interesting unit. You've got your, 3 switches, so one for the mouth, one for each eye. That's how it knows where you've got your locked balls. You've got your little cute little solenoids here to kick out. They're very small. It's a AE 32000. So this coil is it's on a standard A bobbin, which is it's a very standard size bobbin, which would mean the plastic bit that the coil is built on. But it's a 30 gauge wire, which is really, really skinny, and it's wrapped around that bobbin 2,000 times. So it's a pretty low power coil. It's just meant to kind of go bloop, dribble the ball out of the lockout holes. They've got these little bell plungers down here. So you've got a spring that keeps the plunger in its down position. They've got little nylon tips. What else do we have going on here? We've got one switch. There's one thing that's pretty clever about this. This one switch will come in handy after I show you the head. So let's move away from this real quick. So the head comes off of the motor mount as such. It pulls off. These things are loose, so careful. You've got all 4 faces. I took off the make me speak face. So you've got each side here. They're all mounted to 2 metal boxes. So you've got your front and bottom. So each panel kind of screws on. This one people like to look at, if the ball's dribbling down through the top and this Y is faced one way, the ball will come into this eye. And the other way, it'll force it into that eye. So there's no magic to how that works. I guess it's kind of magic.
Oh, Pinmaster. Look, Fred decided to join our stream after 30 episodes.
Hey, Fred. The other
I'm just kidding.
neat thing is this runs on what's called a Geneva gear.
Oh, wow.
So you've got one pin here where my thumb is. If you look on the head, you've got corresponding cutouts that this pin actually, what it will do is when the motor is rotating, it comes up in and drives it, and then once the motor reaches a bit more rotation, it goes away. So what that means, again, that's a terrible explanation. Hopefully you'll get it when you see it in action, but what this does is every 360 degrees that this motor spins, you will get 90 degrees of rotation out of the box. So what we're going to do is reinstall this the way it's supposed to. Let me see. This thing got bent. You know what? And it's not 100% true right now. It got bent, I think, when the guy took it apart and let it sit for 10 years. I'm going to kind of give it a little bit of love real quick.
Oh, my.
Do this on camera. Watch Kyle break things on camera.
No, don't do it. Because that's like an irreplaceable part, right? Do we have that part, or would you be able to find that part?
I don't know. I know these are getting hard to find now. The Geneva gears. We're working on 3D printing them. It's the same part that's used on Twilight Zone for the gumball machine.
Oh, well, that's good.
If this bracket ever broke, I don't think we have it because it doesn't go bad, but you could repair them. But you can see when this thing slides together, you've got this radius right here. It matches up with this radius on the Geneva gear. So I'm going to slide these together, and that fits together much nicer.
Ooh.
So I don't know if it comes through. Let me see. You can see you've got that little nipple there, then you've got the radiuses mating together here. So what we can do with this box, let me get this out of the way. I have my DC power supply here on the bench, and what we can do is this motor runs on 12 volts DC. So what I can do is I'll ensure that we're running 12 volts DC by hooking the black lead to the black lead of my voltmeter, the red lead to the red lead on my voltmeter, turn it on to 20 volts, the 20 volt scale DC. These numbers on these non-auto ranging meters means this is the maximum voltage it will read here. I could read 20 volts on the 200 setting, but it will not be as accurate as putting it on a lower cap here, right? So if I know I'm only measuring 12 volts, I want to keep it on the 20 volt setting.
Nice.
Make sure these guys aren't touching. Power up my power supply. And I am reading 11.97 volts, which is plenty. So now that I know that that is safe, I will unhook the meter, and I get to kind of hold this thing while it does its job. Let's see.
They really need to bring that mech back on a game.
Yeah, maybe a designer can find it in their budget or something. So I'm going to try to do is show this thing off as best I can here while holding it and not getting my fingers nipped. I think that's safe. So what this will do with this Geneva gear is we will get 360 degrees of rotation from the motor, but it will only turn the head 90 degrees at a time. So the motor just made another rotation. Oop, I just shorted them together. Don't do that. Let's make this a little safer. One sec. I want to see if we can get in close and you can kind of see how that weird gear set works.
I had to post on.
You can kind of see how you can see where that protruding piece kind of comes around and then turns the head, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Yeah, you see it. Wow, that's so cool. I'm glad you brought that little, what is that thing called? The little motor electric.
The power supply.
The power supply. I'm glad you brought that external power supply to show that.
It's
off.
neat to watch.
That is so cool.
So once you kind of saw it in action, I don't know, you can maybe kind of tell, again, how it works. This thing is going to spin, I think it spins clockwise. This thing will spin, this radius will ride against here. Once this guy gets introduced and rides up into here, it gives it its one turn, then it exits and spins another 360 degrees. It's super cool. So
that's awesome. You know, if you didn't have to fix someone's Bride of Pinbot machine and say there was a fire and the Bride of Pinbot machine got destroyed, but you were able to save the head and the head mech, then you could make a Bride of Pinbot like robot that could just ride around and give him a little body and stuff.
I would love that.
It should work.
I would love to turn it into a clock or something ridiculous, like figure out what it could do to spin to make something hilarious happen. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty cool, man. It's like one of my favorite goofy mechanisms, and I don't know, is there any like, I wonder what the other
Magic Ditto says we should try.
We should. Okay, well, let's just go make one. We probably have this bracket. I bet we could make this. We just need the head. So, yeah. So, now let's get on to a little more teaching. So, since we know that the motor needs to turn 360 degrees to get one rotation, how does the game know where the head is, right? So, you've got one switch right here on the... we'll call it the skull. You got one switch on the skull thing, and you can see if you look on the back of this, or I guess we can look inside. You've only got 3 indentations, 1, 2, 3, and only one position where the switch would be closed, and 3 where it will be open. You see that?
Right.
So what you'll notice when you turn a Bride of Pinbot on, the head will go. And that's the game indexing itself, so it knows what position to be on to start a game. So the game only knows when it's in what? The game only knows when it's in the human form. So then we go what? One more spin, and then it knows that it's on the mouth. Give it speech. And then it spins once more to get it here. So the game can keep track of how many times it's spun the motor, but it only knows where the head is in one position, if that makes any sense.
For sure.
Right?
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's like, again, it's a pretty elegant solution where you think that having 2 switches would make it easier, but at the same time, it's really simple. The game says, hey, run this, and now it knows, oh, I'm on the, mouth. Okay, run it again. Now I know I'm here. Now I know I'm here. Ah, now I definitely know I'm here because I'm getting a switch input. So they can go and spend a bunch of money making this thing, but they can't engineer one more switch into the head. So
we got a long comment from Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. Yeah. So I'm going to read it out to you, Kyle. He says, I think I remember reading that the mini playfield mech originally appeared in Lights, Camera, Action by Gottlieb. Oh, wow, really? Then the Williams team used it in Bride of Pinbot. Gottlieb sued, and in return, as part of the lawsuit, Williams allowed Gottlieb to use the automatic replay score changing program that was patented. Oh, that's an interesting little tidbit. But they didn't actually end up using, or that mech is in Lights, Camera, Action? I'm trying to think where it would be in that.
Man, I've only played that. I only played that game like once a year at California Extreme. I really do not remember. But that's really fascinating. I'm going to go look that up. That's really cool. Thanks for the history lesson.
I want to see. I've played it at Pinballs before, and obviously I was drawn to it because that's my field of work.
You know.
But I don't remember that mech in it.
I'll have to go look. That's really cool. That's a really neat game. You don't see them come up very often. There's one for sale here locally, but the person wants way too much money for it.
Oh, I was like, get it from me. I'll buy it.
I'm trying to think. It's funny how like lawsuits actually work out in favor for pinball. Like, what was it? Like 20th Century Fox sued Bally for the likeness of the alien on Space Invaders, right? It's a pretty heavily influenced by H.R. Geiger and, the Xenomorph. But then I don't remember the end of this story, but at the end of that lawsuit, instead of paying out, they came to a deal where Bally would make a game off of a Fox property, and I don't remember what it was. It wasn't Star Trek, was it? No.
It's kind of like bartering almost. Well, how about we give you this? We know you want it. And they're like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, that works out. We don't want to give you a bunch of money anyways, so...
Oh, see, look, it was mentioned in Clay Harrell's podcast with the game designer for Lights, Camera, Action.
Oh, hey, cool. Yeah, you know what? I've actually been re-listening to all of those, the Topcast episodes. I remember finding them like right after I found my first pinball game, because I remember, I think I've mentioned the story. Like, you know, that's how I learned how to work on games, was Clay's guides. And I listened to all those podcasts as they were coming out in 2007, 2008, and I recently found them again. I remembered that they existed, and it's been so awesome listening to that stuff again.
I need to.
Yeah,
You
you
keep
do. There's some
mentioning
that
it.
are like really incredible to listen to. It's a different time. It's funny how like just 13 years ago, like we have different like ways of speaking now. So just keep that out there. But anyways, some of the stories are cool because it's like, again, like George Gomez is talking on this podcast, and this is 8 years after Williams shut its doors. So he has a lot of stories to tell about that. And I think it's right when he started working for Stern too. I think right Lord of the Rings had just come out or something like that. Anyways, I think we should put this thing in the game because I didn't just come here to point it.
It's ready to go in the game already?
Yeah,
Oh,
the motor works.
snap.
We verified the motor works. When I was here last weekend, I plugged all this stuff in, and I at least just verified the switches work. I think the lights worked also, but that's not that big of a deal. You have to put it together. It's real goofy. You kind of need to balance it all together, shove them together, and then drop them in place, or kind of do it like this. It's awkward as heck. But yeah.
Let's see it. Is that the game in green cam? Yeah, I see the leg on the back box.
Yeah, we'll just need to move some cameras around and stuff. But I did verify. I looked at the schematic, and I did find that this snubber relay, this was the cause of the thing dying. So it's very likely that I do have a bad transistor on the driver board too, for a trace to burn up like that so bad.
Oh no.
So that's no problem. What I'll do is I'll pull this trace up until here, and then I will run a wire from here until here to give it a good anchor point. I guess the banded side of the diode.
Wow.
So what this thing does is, instead of a transistor that holds itself on and it will burn up trying to drive this motor, what they do is the game has the transistor run this relay, which it can absolutely run, and this relay does all of the actual grunt work of driving the motor. So it's pretty elegant, a good way to do that. Anyways, let me move some cameras around here.
He just throws it onto the table.
You know.
Now the board's broken too.
It's fixable. Let's try not to give everybody nausea.
It's not too bad. As long as you float like that, it's kind of nice.
Let's see if I can raise this.
Oh, man. Yeah, while you're doing that, just talking, TNT Amusements is on Twitch now. And they have the funniest banter ever, but one of their cameras, their player cam, is just someone holding the handheld camera, so it kind of goes everywhere, looks at the player, looks at the player.
Oh, no.
And I really like that roaming camera. It's almost like a POV shot of someone standing there watching all the action. So like goes to Todd over at his computer who's typing obscenities in the Twitch chat, just
I'll have to talk to Todd.
Player, then down at the playfield, zooming in like super close into someone's face. Or
dude, that sounds rad. I'm gonna tell Todd he needs to come onto our show.
Yeah, high energy. You have to follow him on Twitch. Yeah, TNT on Twitch now. It was amazing. I think they were online testing last night at 11:30 p.m. Central, so it was late, and they were boisterous, and it was really, really funny. It was like TNT Amusements in the raw.
Well, Todd was telling me last time I talked to him, he's got nothing but free time right now, so.
Oh. I hope that's a good thing.
There's one screw. I need to find someone that has a Bride of Pinbot to tell me where a lot of these dang plastics go. I'm going to turn Xenon off. It's screaming too much.
Thank you. I didn't want to be that person to turn off that beautiful voice. But now that we can't see the back box anyway. Going.
Sorry, Xenon. Okay, I'm just gathering up some screws right now. And my microphone's flying off my butt.
Oh, my product slideshow is still fire. Well, if anyone is looking for fire products, please look at our slideshow over there.
Everyone's looking for
I did
fire
remember
products.
to change the overlay, so we got that going for us.
What's
Machine.
What's going on in the chat? Is anyone still here listening to me ramble?
Yes, everyone's here hanging
Uh-oh.
out. I can't see. I don't know, man. I really like the stuff we get with Restream. For one, even though it says it's sent to all three, I don't think it's sent to YouTube or to Facebook. And I can't see all my little analytics thing in the chat box.
That's cool. Everyone on
Magic
Twitch is
Ditto
like the
wanted
cool
to let
people
you
anyways.
know that he's here. I'm here, Kyle. Bat Out of Hell is still here as well. They're here. They're all giving you shout outs.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us while we
all wanted to see you work on the head.
But okay.
Kyle was going to do this without us. And then I yelled at him for even thinking of that. Look how cool this is.
Yeah, watch me struggle.
How many times do you get to see a Bride of Pinbot head outside of the cabinet and being assembled? It's like a whole new found respect for how intricate this game is.
Okay, so if you kind of go like that, sorta, and then you kind of go like, oh, this is such a pain in the butt. I guess I shouldn't have put the center ramp back on, but whatever. Put that in like that, and then I kind of have to pick this up and slide it. Nope, those need to go down. Get in there. So the problem, it's not a problem per se, but there's just not a lot of room to work on this thing. I got to get my hand in kind of from the side. I think when I was trying to do this last week, I realized that you have to put these things on in a different order than I just did. Okay, here, take two.
Oh, it's only follower chat on only? What is that? How do I turn that off? I don't even... Dang. How is that even a thing?
What happened?
Because Bishop's on and said that the stream is on Twitch is follower chat only.
Oh, that's screwed up.
I'm looking at my settings. It's off. I just think maybe we don't have any non-followers chatting. Right?
Maybe we were getting some. Maybe we need to double check Restream before we go live on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm going back to Restream.
Until we can. Hey, we could stream night moves from my living room this week or tonight if we want. Okay.
Or we can play Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah, let's just stream PC games because that's way cooler.
Let's see. Yeah, thanks. Like, if you could test it. Night Moves does have really good playfield art.
It's a great game.
That's what, Michael Polero said.
Fun fact, that's the only game that I keep at my house, really.
Oh, well, Neil puts up a good point. Anyone can follow, so just follow. Thank you. But I'm looking at my chat settings and it doesn't say it's...
There it goes.
Preventing anyone.
I made it look a lot harder than it actually is. But that worked out okay.
Oh, okay, wait. So you had to flip it to put it in? Is that what just happened?
No, I mean, I could have done it this way, but before I had 2 screws in here because I thought I remember kind of bringing it in and then down and using these slots to kind of hold the face, the skull bit. But what I forgot to do, which was stupid, the shaft that runs from the motor through, there's a little hole on the skull section that it needs to go through, and I didn't have it in there, so nothing was lining up correctly, and I was trying to fish it in to get it in the right hole, but that's easy.
It looks solid now.
Yeah. So what I can do, again, since I didn't take this apart, I don't know how it goes together, but it looks like there are 2 screws over here had washers because I can see a shiny bit around the hole. And these screws look like they had washers also because there's no rust where the washers used to be. So I'll reassemble it that way.
Okay. There we go.
Anyone else do any pinball work this weekend?
Nice.
Anyone else play pinball?
What are y'all working on this weekend, pinball wise?
Anyone else enjoying fine fermented grain?
How was your National Pinball Day, which was yesterday? If you don't know the history of National Pinball Day, it is August 1st because that is Roger Sharp's birthday.
Yeah, if you don't know the history of National Pinball Day, get out.
You know, it's only been official, unofficial National Pinball Day for about a year. Started by Joe Charvano.
That's so cool.
And yeah, he put the petitions.org thing up, and over 1,000 of people signed it, and that was enough for all of us to be like, yeah, it's National Pinball Day. All right, Bat Out of Hell just bought a new haunted house window from us. Oh, cool.
Oh, rad.
That's great. Yay, cool.
I love haunted house.
We want to see before and after pictures. Touched by Polero says, simultaneously ordering pinball, streaming, and repair junk. Just got my first nice soldering iron. Awesome.
Ooh.
Congrats. So you're going to start streaming too, or are you already streaming? If so, I need to follow you now.
Yeah, and what soldering iron did you get?
What soldering iron did you get?
I think I'm going to bring my Hacko soldering station to the church or the studio for our working on the power supply this week. We'll use a good dedicated thing. I'm gonna have to come in here and spend a little while cleaning and setting up a better workbench.
That'd be cool.
And we'll have to figure out camera angles a little bit better since it's gonna be weird. All right.
I'd like that. Touched by Polero, he got an Xtronic 3020.
Huh. I'm not familiar with that. Is it like a station or just an iron?
And Tess Bishop said Kelly and Zach just got a Star Wars Pro comic, and they are stoked.
Oh, cool.
I love the art on that Star Wars Pro comic.
Yeah, that's really neat.
So poppin'.
I think the art on Star Wars is rad. I like the regular one because it's I like the hyper-realistic illustration. It's cool. But I feel and I think Stern realized this, is they kind of missed an opportunity to do something like that. So I'm glad that they had someone illustrate something super rad like that. Okay.
Definitely. It says, station with temp control. Looks like a budget model, but it was recommended at the New York Times Wirecutter. Should be good then.
Yeah, no, again, it's personally, I don't think you need to spend a bunch of money on tools for pinball. I mean, some things, yes. You get what you pay for with a lot of stuff, but, just get a decent iron. Just don't use one of those, awful giant soldering guns, and you're golden. You're way ahead of a lot of people. Okay, so this wiring harness is crazy, but maybe there's a teaching opportunity here a little bit. Let's get in close. Oh man, this camera's so awesome. Can we buy more of these?
Yes, I would like to.
So
I would like to.
I see a lot of people marking their wiring harnesses and putting 1s and 2s and shapes and stuff, and you're just totally wasting your time. You do not need to do that. Williams used the same color wire on both ends of the harness. So let's see. Also, dress your harness. Let's zoom out really quick, and we're going to try dressing something. Right, so don't yank wires out of your P-straps like this and just let them hang, especially here. that's bad. You're gonna get something caught, it's gonna rip, it's gonna break something. This P-strap is invaluable. You can't really see it. Let me see if I can get you get a view somehow. Sorry, this is gonna be ridiculous. Ooh, all right.
Oh, okay, you're moving the tripod. For a second, I thought you were gonna move the whole game.
This guy right here. Do you see these things? These are called P-straps. And the cables run through these things. Like, look at how nice this looks. When you take your game apart, When you take your game apart, it should look like this. Wires shouldn't be just laying all over the place. They should have a nice route. They should follow, like, you know, a path. That's super important. When you put your game back together, like, please try to mimic the factory look. Especially on a game like this where not having your harness dressed well will literally break things. Okay.
Yeah, sheesh. Oh, DeWispo 2's here. Hey, welcome.
Yo!
And he rebuilt the pops and is William Sorcerer. Oof, what a good game.
Lucky.
And also have some board work to do still.
Bring that sorcerer down here. Let's play some sorcerer. I really love that game.
Yeah, Portal Pinball had Sorcerer for a while, and that game was rocking.
It's so good. Okay, so
Tex
actually,
Bishop
look, I can
said
see some
something
here.
I don't understand.
What's up?
JBCCD-1BQE.
That's sounds like a part number.
You got me.
So I can see.
It's a solder station.
Oh, that's the solder station. Okay. Yeah, it is a part number.
It was sort of a part number, yeah.
So the guy that took this apart totally did this and added like some symbols to the harness. I could see like one or two, but you kind of don't need to do this. If it's going to help you put the game back together, then do it. But take a look here, right? These are matching plugs, right? It's a 4-pin 0.062 Molex connector, and the guy made a backslash on both of these plugs. If that helps you put it back together, that's awesome. Go ahead and do it. But if you don't want to do that, look at the wire colors. In the top position, I'm going to call this the top with the point. I don't know why I do, but that's just how my brain thinks. We've got a yellow and black wire. We've got a red and blue wire, a red and purple wire, and a red and gray wire. If I go over here, I've got yellow and black, yellow and blue, yellow and purple, yellow and gray. They match up. Just make sure you do that. The people that put these harnesses together, I mean, that's standard, right? That's a super standardization thing. Most things are this way, but you know, there aren't a lot of opportunities where you could mix connectors up. These things aren't keyed most of the time, but when you have multiple wires in a place, the harness layer, the guy that puts the harnesses in, doesn't design the same connector to be in the same plot a bunch of times. Like I talked to Mike Vinacore about that. Mike Vinacore's first job back in the pinball industry was working at Jersey Jack, designing the harnesses for, what game was it, Emoto? It was Dialed In. I know he worked on Dialed In, right?
I thought maybe he was there earlier with Wizard of Oz.
Maybe it was Wizard of Oz or Hobbit, but that you have an engineer that puts these harnesses together.
Maybe it was the Hobbit.
To kind of figure out where this stuff goes. So, anyways. And you know what? I kind of want to run this harness to the other side of this P-strap. I feel like we will have less chance of shearing wires if I try to force it to come out closer to the center of the head than off to one side. So I'm actually going to run it on this side. And then what I'm going to do to ensure that this thing kind of stays in place is use zip ties. Let me change the angle of this camera so we can get more of a dead-on look.
Magic Ditto said he'll send you some pictures of the Aztec cabinet when I get it put back together. Dang, I was just talking about how I wanted to get an Aztec.
Yeah, and it was funny because when you started talking about Aztec, I was like, someone sent me pictures lately. Or recently.
What?
Magic Ditto sent me pictures of his gorgeous Aztec, so it like triggered something in my brain like, wait, I was just thinking about this game.
I like that game a lot. I kind of want to get, and I probably won't, but it would make a really cool tattoo is the side cabinet art of Aztec. Do you remember what that looks like? It's very simple. Has like little.
That's super badass.
Almost kind of like a, not Space Invaders, but sort of look to it. He also said watercolors aren't great for the colorblind, which is true. So how do you, if you're colorblind, how are you doing this?
Yeah,
What's
I'm sorry. I
tip you can give
totally
us?
forgot about that disability. So my apologies there. But I guess if you are colorblind and it is difficult for you to distinguish a lot of these colors, then absolutely putting marks or using a reference, using a color that you do recognize, maybe blue tape or certain colors of tape that you might recognize on either side of the harness. But honestly, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm not colorblind. I think I can see all these colors, but maybe maybe there's something I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know. I'd put marks or symbols.
It's true. A lot of people don't really know that they're colorblind, because there's so much range in it as well. So maybe you can't see greens and blues very well.
Isn't that weird? That's so trippy. It's such like an abstract thing. Like, who knows, man? Maybe I've always been seeing purple as not purple. Anyways.
Right.
When you do this for long enough, you kind of start to remember like what colors are and what wires are too. So on Williams games, yellow and red, those are going to be your controlled lamps. A yellow in a stripe and a red in a stripe. This is part of your lamp matrix. So this connector that we just hooked up right over here, this is most likely for the eyes and the mouth. We've got one yellow and 3 different red colors. I do not remember which one is the column and which one is the row. I'm going to assume that the yellow is the column if I remember right. So we've got the column here, and then when these things link up, you've got a light that turns on. So anywho, let's go back through here. What do we have? We have purples and grays. These are solenoids. So this is going to be the control for the 3 solenoids inside the head.
Nice.
Look at that. Whites and greens are switches. So let's see what we've got: our green, blue, white, orange, white, green, and white, yellow. We've got the corresponding plug here. We can get that guy together. There's a lot of empty wires here. These are definitely for the snubber relay that is supposed to go right here. So what I can do is I can just lay this up here to kind of get it out of the way. What else is going on? We've got a... So here is a time when what I just said isn't true, and this can happen sometimes. I've got a 2-pin Molex connector here that is green and white, just green and white. It's very long, so that tells me that it probably doesn't connect here somewhere. It probably connects somewhere within its range, so let's swing it around, and I found a 2-pin here that is green, blue, and white, purple. That's kind of in range. The thing, if you do end up hooking a switch up backwards, it's not the end of the world. What will end up happening generally is you'll go into a switch test and you'll hit it and it will be for something totally different. So, there's one reason to try to label these things, but for the most part, you do not need to label switch or wire harnesses that you take apart. Okay. I just hate taking games apart that have been taken apart once before, or putting them together when I didn't take them apart. Here's some stuff for a ramp. I know that this is coming through. I put that there. And as I do this, I'm always trying to tuck things back into their P-strap just to keep it clean and tidy. We've still got a few more connections here, but these are most likely for the ramps that are not installed yet. I've got this switch wire here. Okay, I think it's time to, maybe we can install a ramp or something. Here's the plug-in for the motor I'm seeing here down in the bottom of the cabinet. One thing we could do, which actually would be really silly, but also kind of fun. So I think we're going to do it. Let's use the power supply to turn the head while it's in the game.
Yeah, we want to see the
This
head.
will just kind of reinforce that like everything is kind of okay the way it's put together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to...
Where did that green white one go?
What's
You
up?
found it? The green white wire? Where did it end up going?
I found a spot way back towards the bottom of the play field. I don't like how the wire kind of...
Yeah, that's kind of jank.
it kind of just hangs over the
Looks
head, but
dangerous.
with gravity keeping it away, I think it'll probably end up being all right, but we'll see. Maybe it routes a different way. Maybe it is supposed to go around the harness this way, so I'll kind of reverse things to make it lay right. Sometimes I will cut zip ties to make things lay a better way than the factory may have done it. So let's see. I'm going to take this giant power supply.
I'm going to look on Instagram.
What's going on Instagram?
Magic Ditto sent a message with a picture of the cabinet.
Oh, red.
I know. I want to see. I want to see.
That thing's heavy. Okay, I'm going to plug the power supply into the service
I don't
outlet.
see it. I don't see it.
And I don't have enough space for the leads. Okay, let's see. I can hook up the black one here. I can hook the red one up.
Lies.
All right, let's watch this sucker turn.
Okay. I didn't get the Instagram message yet, but when I do, I'll like show it with my phone. Ooh, I hear. Oh, whoa.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
It did shudder a little bit, so I kind of want to run it through again.
Oh.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's like at the end. It's like,
Yeah.
get a little shiver.
I don't know. That might be something. Maybe I'm putting too much attention onto it. I don't think that's a problem. It's been a while since I've actually seen a Bride of Pinbot that worked, so I think I'm going to continue reassembling the game because I think at worst, if I need to work on the head again, all I need to do is remove the left ramp and the mini playfield at the most. Well, that's cool. I'm stoked on that.
Oh my gosh. That looks sick.
Oh yeah, it's super shiny.
Did you see the picture of the cabinet? I wonder if I can. I need to sit up so my virtual screen doesn't look, so I can show everyone else. Oh wait, come back, come back. Wow.
Wow.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love the gold and red.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Well done. Wouldn't that make a cool tattoo, like a little cheesy armband?
Yeah, let's bring back those 90s like tribal things or something.
Nice
So
work.
I was gonna come in here and maybe do some zip tying, but I'm going to wait until the end because again, a lot of the times with these like projects, I call them sensias, or you know, it's like I used to work at a motorcycle dealership doing service writing and stuff, and you always had those customers that would come in and be like, well, since you worked on it, it started doing this. So I kind of call this project a sensia, even though I haven't ever worked on it. But since I didn't take it apart, since I didn't diagnose it, it might have to come apart again. So
I see. Sensia. That's
sensia. Well, that's cool. Let's let me get the head. let me put her face on, and then maybe what time is it? I've still got beer, so I guess I could keep working. But since I did work for a few hours getting everybody's orders out the doors today, I definitely want to get home to enjoy some dinner with my wife.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure she's waiting. Did you guys finish your Legos? You finished your Legos. You're getting Steve's Star Trek Enterprise Lego set, maybe, right?
It's not a Lego set. It's just like a 20-something, 2016 San Diego Comic-Con like Enterprise model. I'm so stoked.
Oh, nice.
No, we didn't finish our Legos yet, though.
Oh, you can't not finish a Lego set.
Yeah, but since we're not super rich, we, buy a Lego set a month and we savor the assembly.
The cats don't like knock them off the table and then you missing pieces that have rolled under the couch.
My cats are very banned from my computer room while the Legos are being put together. Little jerks. All right.
Yep, happy 420 in California.
Wow, is it really that late?
620 here and 720 here. Yeah, when It's Lit Pinball came in earlier, he was like, "Good evening, Gimoto and Kyle." And I was like, "Evening?" It's like, oh no, it is.
Oh,
evening.
man.
I have an edit I need to finish too.
Yeah, happy 420 to California.
Earth Day.
Do we have, we don't have visibility, sorry. Zoom this out a little bit, pan it up a teeny bit. Yeah, I don't know, let's just, you know what I like to do, at least if I'm not going to put this thing all the way together, I'll get it to a fun point where it's like, hey, almost all the pieces are on, and then it will feel like I've done something today. We kind of did, actually. I mean, we did some important stuff.
Wait, you have to finish that little board. What is it called?
The snubber.
Snubber. You
Yep.
gotta finish the snubber board.
I gotta I gotta do that at some point. I gotta fix the snubber board. What else do we have to do on this turd?
Doesn't this game have to go back to its loving owners at some point? How long are you gonna extend this for?
Well, thankfully the dude that gave it to me was like, you don't rush because it doesn't need to come home until my house is done being built. And then that was like just in March. So, as we all know, this ridiculous, crazy pandemic happened in March and everything's kind of put on hold. So he's like, yeah, don't rush, don't worry.
Yeah, the proper terminology is the snubberlupagus.
Ah, yes. Yes, it is. Thank you.
The snubberlupagus. That's from Tess Bishop.
Someone said that they had a haunted house. I always like on the haunted house and on Black Hole, I always add little snubber relays to the up kickers. It sends the ball from the bottom all the way up to the top. I find that they burn out. The coils like to burn out, or the transistors blow out when those things have to fire over and over again if it can't make it up on the first try, which is pretty much all the time.
You have a question on the chat from the Elusive Ninja.
Ooh.
Said, oh, Bride of, okay. It used a little emoji that looks like a barrel, so I thought he was saying, I have a line on an Oktoberfest for $1,000. But then Elusive Ninja said, ha ha ha, Bride of Pinbot. So maybe it's, I have a line on a Bride of Pinbot for $1,000. Was told it blows a fuse. With only that info, would you bring home the project?
Oh yeah, for $1,000, absolutely.
I'll bring it home.
$1,000 is a really good deal for a project game. The problem you see nowadays is people asking like $2,000 for a game that needs work. Never spend that much money on a game that is a project. Every game that you're going to buy needs work, but don't pay working game money for a game that really needs some love.
Well said. And if you decide not to buy it, I or many other people in the chat right now would love that lead before it goes.
If you decide not to buy it, let me know, and I'll
That's a
give you
good deal.
$200 for your well done service, and I'll go pick it up.
And plus, now you know Kyle is good at working on this game, so you can side text him and be like, "Hey, my head's messed up," and Kyle will be like, "Check out this episode of PINTECH where I worked on the head."
I guess it's like to expand, it really depends what fuse it's blowing. Like,
Yeah.
if it's blowing like a solenoid fuse, like easy. If it's blowing a GI fuse, pain in the butt, but still easy. It's like, if it's blowing like logic fuses and stuff like that, that kind of sucks. But again, it's only $1,000. You're not spending a ton of money
they're
on
picking it up. Awesome. Yeah, and that's true and also Dark Fiber said never fall for probably just a fuse.
Yeah, it's not just a fuse. It's going to need a bunch of stuff. I mean, for a $1,000 game, expect... That's the thing, is you're going to pay $1,000 for the game, but in reality, you're going to spend, it's 90% for sure it's going to need a new computer. It's 99% sure going to need a flipper rebuild. So calculate these things into how much you'd actually want to pay for the game, right? They all need more than everyone says they do.
Yeah, he said my first question was which one, but no real answer though. And that was an interesting point that Tim brought up in buying your first pinball machine presentation we did yesterday for California Extreme.
Yeah.
Was that people sell their games if it's broken, but broken to them is something for you that could be very easily fixable. Like the game doesn't turn on and, it could be just as easy as a power fuse or it could be more than that. But a lot of times people don't know.
And
that's the whole premise of PINTECH Live is because it's like people like me, I don't really know not to leave my batteries in the computer for 20 years and have them leak everywhere. Like, oh, a pinball machine has batteries? That's the majority of people. So they may not know they may not know past that it's just a fuse.
Yeah,
you might get lucky.
Every game
statement.
Every game is broken.
Good luck.
Whether you know it or not. And every game, it's never just a fuse. Because you have to think about it, right? It's like, oh man, like I've got this like really rad BMW M3. It's like the coolest car ever, but it's got a dead battery, so I'm only going to sell it for 10 grand, right? It's like, no, that doesn't happen. That's why it's worth it. I used to work for the guy that taught me how to do the quality of work that I do. He was like very infamous in the Bay Area for charging a lot of money for a pinball game.
Kyle's getting Final Destination right now.
Yeah,
Someone
I'm being crushed by a
him.
Bride of Pinbot, but it's okay. I've got a strong skull.
Oh, his head's gonna get cut off. This is terrifying.
But the thing is, it's like, the reason that we would charge so much money for a game is because it would be taken apart, it would be repaired, and like all problems would be addressed, right? So, we'd never sell a game for cheap because it just needed a fuse or something like that. And other people won't either. So just don't fall for that stuff. If you don't want to work on a game, spend more money on it and get one that works and get one with a warranty. It's great.
That's true. But sometimes it's fun to work on a game and figure out all the problems, right?
Oh, it totally is. But I get discouraged when you see people wanting to get into this hobby or something like that, and they just get burned. That sucks.
Sure. So the Elusive Ninja also said, I was told it also has a rotten dog MPU and it blows the fuse too.
So that's where you have to be a little more concerned then.
Because you could be spending about another $1,000 on getting the computer and everything working, right?
Yeah, look, it's like
still be a good value.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna buy a Bride of Pinbot
for like what?
You're gonna buy a Bride of Pinbot for $1,000. You're probably going to have to put $300 worth of parts into it, and depending on what you value your time at, you're going to, it's probably going to end up costing you another $1,500. But then you have to think about it. It's like, I got a really sweet Bride of Pinbot that I fixed for $2,500. I think I have a perspective on this because I work by the hour when I'm working on pinball. But what is your time worth, right? That is an important thing to try to quantify.
How much do you love this game?
Yeah,
Get it to work.
There's bazillions of pinball machines out there. What makes you actually want to work on this one, more than another one? Where you might be able to find a buddy that has a nice one for sale at some point. So.
Maybe.
Yeah, but again,
Pinbot's getting pretty rare though, right?
What's
I
up?
feel like you can't. Bride of Pinbot is kind of a hard one to find in the market.
No, not really. I mean, the thing is, like, you might think that by like looking at people on the internet talking about this stuff, but like, look, this dude has had this Bride of Pinbot in his house for 20-something years, and it has sat apart for 12 years because he didn't know where to find someone to fix it. So these games exist still.
Well, yeah, so you just have to wait till someone gets bored of their game or just wants to sell it. Flipper Snapper, hey, what's up? Says hi, Kyle. Flipper Snapper. I added some little cute emojis.
I like emojis. But anyways, I guess long story short, don't want to listen to Kyle rant anymore. Buy the damn thing. It's $1,000. What else can you buy for $1,000? What other pinball machine can you buy for $1,000?
Yeah, Elusive Ninja, I see everything you're writing, and it's kind of like playing the lotto. I say go for it. I have a good feeling for you. But don't come after me if it ends up being a total mess.
Well, here's the other thing, right? It's like, you're buying a WPC game, you can basically buy an entire brand new Bride of Pinbot. You can, right? Like, the playfields are available, the plastics are available, the ramps are available. The whole thing could like have rotted away, and you could buy everything just as long as you have the mechanical pieces. So it's not a crazy game. Now, if you were like saying it's like, oh, dude has a Cactus Canyon, and it's in super bad shape, well, maybe you don't want to spend $1,000 on it because it's going to turn into an eternal project. You're never going to be able to get all the parts for that game. Bride of Pinbot, that's an easy one to get parts for.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, they said, I love to listen to Kyle rant. I hear that's a lot of everyone's favorite part. Kyle, when you get all heated up and just start ranting.
Well, the rants get real good when I've been drinking beer. So
the Marco After Hours, if you guys ever tune in on those, oh man, Kyle heat up a storm. He'll start tornadoing all over the place.
Yeah, tell me if you like me blabbing after hoursing. Where did I put the head? Oh, there it is, the helmet.
Flipper Snapper got a Grand Lizard for $1,000.
I'll pay you $1,002 for your Grand Lizard, like right now.
Already sold it.
Oh!
They already sold it.
You can't do that. You can't tease me with Grand Lizard. I love Grand Lizard. That's like seriously one of my favorite games ever.
Good one.
It's come on, what other games has sweet bongo action like Grand Lizard does? I'm pretty sure this is how it goes back together. There's one piece of plastic that I have in the bottom of the cabinet that I cannot figure out what it goes to, but kind of by this point, you're at the point where it's like, you gotta, things kind of fall into place when you have this few pieces sitting around, so. I'm gonna try not to Final Destination myself again and pull the wires through the back. Let's see.
That was really horrifying.
My
Not
meteor,
gonna lie, guys.
my meteor tried to kill me the other day, or a couple months ago. I was like, I don't remember, I was like in it doing something, and the only time it's ever happened to me, the playfield fell down, and the slingshot hit me in the back of the head. And I was in the office, and I was bleeding everywhere. Steve was laughing his ass off. Crystal was all concerned for me, and Mark was like running around trying to find like paper towels to stop the bleeding. So you learn who your real friends are when your pinball machine tries to eat you.
Yeah.
Getting wiring harnesses into the holes that they're supposed to go into is kind of a patience-trying thing. You don't want to pull too hard because you might break things, but it's also hard to like pre-insert them and then get the ramp to stay in place, which was I was trying to do last time when it ate me. Let's see.
Test Bishop says, wait, before I get him going, let's see what Flipper Snapper said. Wait, what? I feel like Ron Burgundy when I read these comments out because I just don't know what I'm going to expect. From Flipper Snapper, it's good to know that pinball machines eat humans like how humans eat chocolate bunnies and animal crackers.
Yep.
Eating the head. Yeah. We've had lots of head jokes today.
But they eat our quarters, so you can't blame them for wanting to, or well, no, they just eat us.
No.
They take us for granted.
Killer pinball machines. Yeah, we're all glad his brains didn't spill out. Jeez. Tess Bishop says, Kyle, tell us about the main Doctor Who mech.
Aw, no.
Now welcome to Kyle's
I don't want to remember
time.
that exists. Who asked that?
Test Bishop.
If there's one pinball game that I just really,
buttons.
really hate, it's probably Doctor Who. But it's amazing. Okay, so the main mech on Doctor Who is a elevator. It's a raising little playfield. So it's got 3 levels, and it's got a motor that drives it up and down. So the first level has 2 holes for you to lock a ball. The second level has like 5 targets you can hit that are controlled by optical switches. So there's senders and receivers, and when you hit the switches, it blocks the path, and that's how it registers the hit. And then on the bottom, there are like 3 holes you can get it into. It's insane. It is a total insane piece of engineering. It's amazing. But it's just, they're such a pain to keep running right. Well, it's one of those things like you just gotta, once you get it, you have to go through the thing and get it working right. But they're very dangerous. They'll eat your fingers. There's like actually like an infographic that says to not get your fingers eaten. It has a switch on the upper side of the playfield here where it will not allow any solenoids to work unless that switch is closed, like the glass is in. So, yeah, I don't know. If you actually want to know something about it, I'll talk more about it, but I hate that thing. They're just hard to work on, man. It's like they never worked right from the get-go, and like nowadays they extra don't work right. So it's a lot of trial and error, cleaning. Those things do require a teeny bit of grease. So definitely grease the cam that drives the elevator up and down. Just remember, it's like, since it is such a pain in the butt to take out, do all the work you need to do to try not to take it out again.
He goes, that covers it.
It's awful, but it's a fun game until the Dalek starts.
Did they ever reuse that mech in any other game?
Thankfully, no. But that's the thing. That's another one of those weird things, right? Like they engineered this like insane thing, and they only used it once.
I really would like to see the Bride of Pinbot head reused in something somehow one day.
We'll have to get someone out to remake it. Too bad Python is no longer with us. We say, hey Python, you got to make another head. Okay, I'll do it. That guy was crazy.
Yeah,
okay.
I wish I could have met him.
I never met that guy.
Flipper Snapper said, how did you first learn about teching? Coming from someone who knows absolutely nothing. Like, what was it like at the beginning? You have a great origin story, Kyle. And I can't wait. I have to actually hit up California Extreme and Zen Studios and get their blessings to let us post that buying your first pinball machine seminar
Yeah, that
just
was
put
really fun,
on
man.
our YouTube page. Kyle talks about all, his backstory, but tell us again now. Great
I
story.
bought my first pinball game in front of a bar because it was sitting on the sidewalk. And it was a Creature from the Black Lagoon that was very broken. And since it was so broken, I needed to know how to fix it, right? So like I had background, like as a teenager, I played a lot of music. So I had computers. I like building computers. So I kind of I messed with electronics. So, and I loved cars. I had multiple cars that I would be working on all the time. So it was kind of my favorite mashup of all three things. So it was kind of a trial by fire, but there was there wasn't a lot of resources online on how to fix games at that time, but Clay Harrell had his pin repair website. I went out and bought a ream of paper and printed it out on my mom's printer. I was still living at my mom's house at that time. I was like 17 or 18. And it was tough, man. It's a lot of skills that that aren't applicable in a lot of places. So it's a lot of trial and error. I broke a lot of things. I've blown up a lot of things, and I've wasted a lot of money by doing things wrong. So that'll probably happen to you too, but don't let it discourage you because it's very rewarding. Because then you have like a bunch of ridiculous paperweights that need to be fixed all the time, like I do. So
you were kind of self-taught, and then
yeah, for a bit I was self-taught, and then I back in the day there was a group on Google called RGP Rec Games Pinball, and that was great. And I met up with a guy that lived local who sold me some parts and was an expert. Unfortunately, he passed away from cancer a few years ago, Steve Sharland. But he was a Gottlieb master, Gottlieb System 80 master. The dude wrote like the Gottlieb Bible. And I met Cliff Rainier, he runs Cliffy's. He does the pinball protectors. He lived in the same city that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some pretty good mentors. I moved on to working with the people at the Pacific Pinball Museum, volunteering at all of the pinball shows in the Bay Area, California Extreme, Pinagogo, Golden State Pinball Festival. And then one day Marco's like, hey, you want to move to South Carolina? We'll give you a job. And I was like, all right. So it's a long story but yeah,
No, that's awesome. I was laughing or snickering earlier because MGM Studio said experience is directly proportional to equipment ruined.
Yeah. No. We had I should, next time I go back to California, MGM Studios, I'll send you a picture. Chris and I had a box of burnt coils. It was just like, it was like a 12 by 16 box that was just like overflowing by this much of burnt up coils. And, of course, most of those are from actual problems. But, yeah, it's that is definitely true. Don't be afraid to break things. I mean, you really can.
PINTECH Live School every Thursday at 3 p.m. to hopefully avoid those proportional equipment ruin
hopefully
problems.
Avoid them, but like I
That's
hope
how
it's
I'm
like
learning.
if I can have you take anything away from any of this blabbering that I do is like don't be afraid to break things. And that's not because I work for a company that sells you the parts. It's just that you have to not be afraid to get your hands dirty and go in there and maybe do something wrong, because that's the best way to learn is when you make a mistake like that. Hopefully you never will make a mistake. There's so much great information on pinball nowadays on the internet. There's videos for everything. PinWiki is incredible and always expanding. Clay Harrell has massive blocks of text on pinrepair.com that you should absolutely go read. It's very rewarding, and I feel very lucky that I get to contribute to that now by trying to teach y'all on a new medium that is not walls of text. I get to blab at you, and you have to look at me. So
we get to look at you.
No, you have to.
Yeah,
look at
Flipper
me.
Snapper said that's the thing. I feel like I'd set things on fire not knowing any tech stuff. Well, one, keep the game off.
You can, but again, that's why you have to kind of go in and just get the basics. I mean, learn how electricity works, right? Like Do you know the difference between AC and DC power? You know, you don't need to be an electrical engineer. I'm not an engineer. I dropped out of college, right? Like, I am not a smart person, but it's like just learning these things will really, learning the very basics will at least help you visualize and have a concept of how these things work. I'm a very visual learner. I need to see things done. I learn much better that way. And if I can visualize the way this system works together, that's very helpful to me. And that is probably the one thing that really helped me learn how to fix these things. I mean, I guess I'll be honest, like the one thing that I'm weakest at is the things that are not as physical, right? Like TTL logic and stuff. I know how to fix boards. I know what to look for. I know the common things. But when I really need to get in and like understand the difference between, I mean, I know what the difference is, but you know, an AND gate or an OR gate or a NOR gate, and you know, measuring the outputs of chips, things get a little more. It's a little more abstract to me. It's harder for me to understand.
Yeah, me too. I was just making a catalog of all the PINTECH videos we have to do now. And Flipper Snapper, that's why we are running this show. PINTECH Live is catered towards noobs like me, maybe like you. I'm probably more of a noob than you are. You're just being modest. And it's so we can just start feeling comfortable working on our own games and buying games to work on. And if you can't join us every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, then all of our videos also get cataloged on our YouTube and Facebook page. And it's very simple stuff, you know.
In the videos that we do,
it's weekly pinball school. It's great. So please join us as much as possible. And one other thing, because Magic Ditto said his first machine is the Aztec. The Fun with Pinball.com, they do an awesome electromechanical repair school once a month, and it's free to join. They do, it's not Zoom, but some type of other video service, and you learn a lot really fast just kind of sitting in and watching people service their issues on their games. So,
yeah, it's great. One of my good friends, David Valansky, is one of the volunteers, and he is a wizard with electromechanical games.
He's amazing.
Watching people that really know the electromechanical circuits inside and out is great. So you have like expert advice from people that can, you know, try to pinpoint those issues on hand. It's really a great service. Mark Gibson is also a really awesome guy. His Fun with Pinball setup is he travels around to pinball shows and museums and stuff like that, and has like he has these built-out models of like pinball mechanisms to show you how they work. So it's kind of fun. Cool. You could push a button and watch a pop bumper work in like a, you know, totally above a game sort of aspect. It's neat. Yeah. I had something I wanted to mention.
That at Pinball Expo last year.
About our shows during the week, they're a little less blabbing because generally we have like a set curriculum and what we're going to try to achieve during that show. So it's less of me like fishing around and throwing things together, and like, on Thursday we're going to recap a System 11 power supply. We're going to change all the electrolytic capacitors in the 12 and 5 volt circuit on the power supply. So hopefully my train of thought will be a little more on one track.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I need to get my solder sucker, or Steve Burtok is letting me borrow his solder sucker since I still don't have mine. Let's turn this thing on. Awesome. Let's do some switch tests for the ramps I just put on. And then I'll answer a few questions if anyone has any, and then I'm going to go home and play Deep Rock Galactic with Emoto.
Really? That would
Maybe,
be
I
awesome.
don't know.
I better finish editing.
Oh, I'm supposed to have a Zoom call with all my friends tonight back home. Oops.
Oh, yeah. You should do that because I need to edit. But if you're going to stay up late and we're not both playing different versions of Assassin's Creed, I am totally down for some
I have to
Deep
work
Rock
tomorrow.
Galactic.
I can't stay up late.
Sleep is overrated.
Okay, so we're going to go into switch edges. Switch edges will show me the current
Swap
switch
cameras.
closed. I get that question a lot. What's the difference between switch edges and switch levels? Switch levels will show you what switches are closed. Currently, switch edges will show you what is like happening in real time. So I can pop this up here a little bit so you can see the display in the top of the screen. But like what? I put this center ramp on. We might run into a problem because there are a few switches that might not be hooked up, and that will break the path in the switch matrix. So there could be a few switches on here that do not report because they are in a certain position on the switch matrix, which we can explain on a real PINTECH video. But I just want to see what we have now. That's good. When I test switches, I always try to test them like with the actuator, what actually moves them, and in the direction that they are moved. The ball comes up here and dribbles down here, so that's why I'm testing this one from this direction.
Nice.
That's good. Generally, you want to test switches with a ball. You always want to test rollover switches with a ball. Your finger can kind of depress itself deep into the groove where the switch is and might give you an inaccurate reading, where a ball cannot, form its way into those routed out switches, or holes. That's good. The ones in the head work. I guess that's kind of it, huh?
Nice. Great job.
Bumper switches are not responding, but those are probably in a certain spot on the switch matrix that is broken right now. These games don't have the switch matrices in the head, they're in the cabinet. That's cool. That makes me feel like we're kind of getting somewhere. Let's see. So now, for instance, ooh, look at that. I don't think that's normal.
What is that? It's flashing tests? What do you mean? It's not supposed to be flashing?
No. That's weird. This is still an original gas plasma display. It very well could be going bad. Lights are working. Let's see if I can't run the head. Obviously, this relay is still dead.
The snubber flubber?
Yeah, the snubber flubberophagus.
Oh yeah, ophagus.
Okay, cool. That makes me happy. I think we're kind of getting close. Another thing I could test too, because
can I just say real quick, I love that this play field is on that swivel thing to go straight up.
Yeah, it's nice. The later games,
they're
though,
not all like that, for the record. For anyone that doesn't know, they're not all like that, and then you have to kind of pull and then push up and then just kind of pray that your board doesn't fall through the cabinet while you lift it all the way up, or that you have it in a little arc on the weird stick.
The later play fields are even better because they pull forward and then lift up. So like, it's always a pain. Like, someone brought up Doctor Who, you evil person. And I remember I hate doing the pop bumpers on Doctor Who because they're like extra far back down here. So like on like games like Twilight Zone, when you lift it forward and then flip it up, everything is like 4 or 5 inches higher. And it's so much nicer on my really long back. So let's see. We'll test the helmet because we have the helmet out. And it is much easier to work on this apparatus while it is off of the game. There are a few other plugs on this thing, like for the flash lamps. I'm not too worried about the flash lamps right now.
Hey, maybe that purple-white one goes into that.
Flash lamps are generally red and blue because flash lamps run on a different voltage than the rest of the lamps run on.
I figured something out. Bat Out of Hell says, working on both Haunted House and Black Hole are out of control touchy. I love the black hole sounds. That
Those games get bad reps. They're really not. I mean, they're kind of a pain in the butt to take from like non-working to working, but they kind of have bad reputations, honestly.
red and blue. Oh man! All right, Bad Out of Hell. Thank you for joining us. It's always
What's
a
up?
pleasure. We'll see you Thursday, maybe if you can make it. We like having you in the chat. Have fun eating your eggplant parmesan. Parmesan. Now I'm hungry.
Wait, who's eating eggplant
Sounds
parmigiano and why aren't
delicious.
you sharing it with me?
Bad Out of Hell.
Lucky?
I know, right?
Let's see. We're gonna put it in lamp test mode to get these guys to come up.
Pew.
Ah, but wait, these aren't feature lamps, are they? They're controlled differently. That's what it, hold on. Helmet light. Oh, helmet light. Yep, okay.
Why not meatloaf? Why eggplant? Well, maybe Bad Out of Hell by Meatloaf is not a cannibal. That would just be wrong. Gotta eat the eggplant.
So, Eska made me a really incredible vegetarian eggplant parmigiano the other day, and I was very, very happy. But it's also making me fat, so. Some of these lights are working, some of them are not. I'm going to definitely change these later. Yeah.
Kyle, your dogs are barking.
Those aren't my
I'm just
dogs.
kidding. Those are my dogs. They want to go on their walk. They're angry at me, just staring at me, judging me. Ah, stop. Don't bark at me. That's mean.
Well, let's
Get outta
test
here.
one more thing since I feel like I'm in a really good place and this game is almost done and I can try to start wrapping it up and get paid and maybe buy some kayaks because I want a kayak more than anything right now.
I need a kayak too. My pit bull Mookie he's sitting far away from the door. You didn't hear, he will cry. He's like, oh, I want to go on a walk. But then I have a little Pomeranian dog that's just glaring at me, and he's very boisterous and demanding. They're both old men. Maybe I can scoot him over here for a last goodbye.
Ah, okay. It won't let me do any head tests if it can't home the head. Okay.
Oh, so you need that board, that little.
Yeah. And then we have to test and see if the drive transistor's bad.
If I can grab it.
And I didn't notice anything looking bad. A lot of times when transistors go bad, they start leaking magic insides. And none of these particularly look like they're leaking anything, so. Huh, okay. That's where the troubleshooting begins. Like, I just did all the labor. I haven't done any actual troubleshooting to this turd yet, so. It might be a good idea.
That's on another weekend episode.
Yeah. I kind of want to, to preserve this gas plasma display, I might want to replace these filter capacitors on the high voltage side here. I don't know. Usually I don't replace high voltage filter caps because they don't seem to cause problems, but maybe I will just because I can. I'm going to send you an electronics 101 video, Emoto, for you to watch and get the super basics.
Oh, that would be awesome. I turned into a dog.
You're turning into a dog?
Yeah.
That's cool too. I'm actually very jealous. All right, well that was fun. Hopefully that you have some sort of a clip you can take from that to show something useful.
It looks like I'm crying. My dog eyes are so watery because I'm not going on my walk yet.
Wow, that's a cute dog.
Look, he's crying. He's crying. All right,
Aww.
We're going on a walk.
Where's Mookie?
Mookie's crying, but I can't pick him up like that without destroying my set.
Mookie's tough. It's all big and beefy.
Now I have dog hair all over my Marco prototype hat.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for this weekend workout.
Yeah, thanks, y'all.
Weekend warrioring. And
I was
we may
thinking,
see the rest of this Bride of Pinbot repair. We may not, but at least we got to see the head pulled out. So if you guys came in late, all of our videos get archived on YouTube, and then you'll see the head mech, which is this huge,
maybe we
beautiful
will
mech
finish this
that
on
Kyle
PINTECH.
shows off and how it all works. And you can check that out, and hopefully we'll get this game out soon to its owner so you could live in pinball again.
I don't know, maybe I'll just keep it. Oh, sorry, it's not done. Oh, sorry. Oh, man. Parts are out of stock, like, forever. Guess you'll just have to let me keep it.
Yeah, Dark Fiber asked, when are we getting Marco Coven mask swag? I actually did order some swaggable masks.
Really?
It's, yeah, but you know, everything's backed up, so we probably won't get those till mid to the end of August. And then our plan is to kind of give some away here and there, throw them in some orders.
Yeah.
So if you want to be on that list, on that swag list, shoot us an email at marcotv@marcopinball.com, and I'll see if I can hold one for you. It's got a little Marco Pinball logo on the side. You'll look like a cool Mortal Kombat character. Simple.
Wear your mask. It's good for you and good for your neighbors and everyone else around you.
Yeah, let's get through this so we can start going back to pinball shows. I'm dying over here.
Hey, when are we going to get super sweet bottle openers that have like a always be tightening or your pinball game's broken, you should go fix it written on it?
I have it on my list to do some research to find magnetic bottle openers for your coin door. And it'll say Kyle's line, always be tightening.
That's a great idea for the coin door. I like that.
But it's a good idea.
Huh. All right, cool. Well, hey, yeah, thanks y'all for joining. That was fun. I was expecting I was just going to be sitting here talking with the Moto for a few hours, so awesome.
Yay, thanks everyone for joining us. Yeah, we have the new keychains. We've been sending them to people too. I'm glad MGM Studio approves. It's an awesome design. It looks like a quarter. Isn't that cool?
They're super cool. Yeah, maybe if you order parts, you'll get one.
Yep. MarcoPinball.com, and Pinball we trust. So again, the last farewell is you still have a few more hours to take advantage of our National Pinball Day free shipping sale. So it's free domestic ground shipping for orders over $99. Spend the rest of your evening loading up your cart. You have until midnight Eastern. So that's less for you West Coasters. Sorry. But yeah, take advantage of the order. It's an easy way to get a $9 discount on your parts.
That's right. Oh, hey, check it out. Here, on a parting note, let's do this.
We have lots of parting notes. Here's our last parting
Take advantage of this because...
We're going. Where are we going?
Oh, gosh. This tripod's crazy. If your flipper looks like that...
Oh my gosh!
Replace that thing. What the hell? Look at that.
You think? Oh, no.
If your flipper looks like that, you're doing it wrong. Or you're doing it right because you're using your game, but buy a new one, dang it.
Yep, new flippers, a flipper rebuild kit, some fresh rubbers. Bam. Click the link, get free shipping. Oh, so if you go to our website, click that banner that says Happy National Pinball Day. That'll give you the link. And if you have any issues, feel free to email us at sales@marcopinball.com. And Viking, until Thursday, goodbye, everybody. All right. I think goodbye. Why isn't my splash screen showing? Okay, we're out of here. Bye.